Good evening, everyone. I am Karl Vincent and Gonzales, and today I'm going to discuss with you the break-even point analysis. As a recap, the previous lecturer discussed the break-even point analysis of the Bogo Medellin Milling Corporation Incorporated, and BMM failed to reach its break-even revenue, which resulted to a net loss. After this discussion, you will be able to define and explain the break-even point analysis and use its formula. Break-even point analysis is the point where the total sales and the total costs of a company is zero, meaning its net loss or net profit is equals to zero. There are three variables that are needed to compute for the break-even point. These are the revenue, the fixed costs, and the variable costs. Revenue are the sales produced by the company. Fixed costs are expenses that are not directly incorporated to the sales, meaning if the sales fluctuate, the fixed costs are not affected by it. Fixed costs are generally found under the operating expenses. Account titles such as general and administrative expenses, utilities expenses, salaries expenses, and rent expenses. On the other hand, the variable costs are expenses that are directly incorporated to the sales, meaning if the sales fluctuates or increase, the tendency of the variable costs or expenses will also increase. Variable costs are typically found under the cost of goods sold, because cost of goods sold will vary depending on the amount or the volume of the sales produced. Let us now go further into our discussion. The break-even point in peso sales formula. Break-even revenue. Break-even revenue is the revenue needed to cover the total cost, which will result to no net loss or zero net profit. Break-even point revenue is equals to fixed costs divided by quantity 1 minus variable cost over total sales. Let us now assume that all fixed costs are under the operating expenses and all the variable costs are under the cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold or over the total sales is the cost of goods sold percentage, and 1 minus cost of goods sold percentage results to gross profit margin. Now the formula is break-even revenue is equals to operating expense divided by gross profit margin. Let us now compute for the break-even revenue of To Go Group Incorporated. First, let us take the gross profit margin using the formula gross profit divided by revenue. Gross profit of the To Go Group is amounting to 1,915,523,000 divided by its revenue of 9,817,445,000. The gross margin ratio results to 20%. Now the second step is to get the break-even point revenue using the formula fixed cost or operating expense divided by gross profit margin. The fixed expenses under the To Go Group Incorporated are the general and administrative expenses, which amounts to 1,387,897,000 divided by the gross profit margin of 20%. Now the break-even revenue amounts to 6,939,485,000. This break-even revenue shows that the required total sales of that To Go Group to cover its total cost or total expenses. We can see that the break-even revenue was exceeded by the To Go Group total sales of 9,817,445,000. They exceeded the break-even revenue of almost 3 billion. Now in a summary, break-even point analysis is important for any type of business, because break-even point analysis determines whether if the business should increase the price or to make some activities such as advertising to increase its sales volume, which will result to the achievement of their break-even point analysis faster.